Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Luis Ortiz and Demtrius Andrade. They just can't catch a break, man. It's sad. It's horrible to see these guys with the talent they have and how long they've been fighting professionally can't get the big fights. Horrible, horrible, horrible. You know, I sit back here as a boxing fan and I just don't get it. You know, with Demtrius Andrade, this man has a belt. Nobody wants to fight him. They talk about his style being boring. There's always an excuse when it comes to, you gotta excuse me, but I don't edit things out because I'm human. There's always an excuse when it comes to people wanting to fight Andre. I mean, forget how boring his style is. Go out there and take his belt. Nobody wants that. It's sad. This man is thinking about going up a weight division, going down a weight division, going up 2 weight divisions, like just so he can get a fight with someone with a big name. It's ridiculous, man. Andre should have fought a Benavidez. Andre should have fought Canelo. Andre should have fought a Charlo. I mean, Andre he's there, he's ready, he's willing. He's not even worried about getting this. He's not worried. If someone offered him an 80-20 split, he would take it. And he has a belt. That's just how much he believes in himself and how much he's tired of waiting around. But they're not going to give him the opportunity. Because say what you want, Andre can crack. He can crack. That little weird left-hand style he has, it works for him. Just like Rolando Romero, about to fight Tank. That little weird style he has, he can crack. And it works for him. So that's why people don't want to fight a guy like Rolly. And then with Andre, nobody wants to fight him. It's sad. But when you think about it, the 2 biggest boogeymen out there, the guys who just can't get the fights, because I don't care what you say, people are afraid to fight him. It's Andre and Luis Ortiz. Nobody wants to fight Ortiz. The only 2 big, I want to make sure I say this correctly, right? The only 2 big fights that Ortiz had to really put him on the map were the Deontay Wilder fights. And he did very well in those fights. And it showed everyone why nobody wants to fight him. And the man can box. He outboxed Deontay Wilder. And he hurt Deontay Wilder, in both fights. But Deontay Wilder, the man just has dynamite in his hands. And that's what pretty much saved his tail. And then when Luis Ortiz fought Charles Martin, a big name, Charles Martin had a title, went over there, they overpaid him, took the title from him, AJ took the title from him, we get it. But Martin showed that, there's a reason why he won that title, even though he didn't really defeat the guy. The guy got injured and couldn't fight no more, so Martin got the belt, which was all whack and corny in my opinion, so he got lucky. And then he got like 8 or 10 million to fight AJ. So they overpaid him to get the belt, and then they ran AJ and Hearn ran with it. But now you look at what Ortiz did to Martin, you really have to say, hold on a second. This man got knocked down twice in that fight and came back. I mean, that shot he hit Martin with was crazy. Martin got tangled in the ropes. So you can say what you want about Ortiz, about his age, because he does look like an old man. This is just his features, man. He looks like a little old grandpa, right? Oh boy, I need to get some coffee, man. He does look like a little Cuban grandpa, a little abuelo running around there. But abuelo can hit. Abuelo can fight. And nobody wants to fight him. He was supposed to fight Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, man, come on, he got to do better. Don't sit there. This man doesn't waste 3, 4, 5 months of this man's time. Come on. That's horrible. He planned to fight in July, whatever other discussions were coming up with. If there were maybe names not as big as Andy Ruiz, but, decent names. He passed on all that, and now he has to go back to the drawing board. That's crazy. That's frustrating for his promoter, his trainer. You can imagine his family. And Luis Ortiz, man, that's why he and Deontay Wilder are very close, and he respects him so much. Because Deontay Wilder made sure this man had more than enough money. Those 2 fights, more than enough money for the rest of his life and his daughter's life, and maybe even for her kids, that little girl wouldn't have to worry about nothing. All the medical expenses this man had to pay to take care of his daughter. And he's a professional boxer, one of the elite, and he can't get fights. And that's why you can say what you want. I'm going to do a video on this. I ain't going to get too much into it. Say what you want about Wilder. But Wilder's special. Forget the boxing. Wilder's special. He's different. That's why I hold him in a high regard. Wilder's built differently. And so is Ortiz. One of the reasons why people don't want to fight Ortiz is because he's built differently. It's just stylistically, man, a nightmare for these guys. Dillian White didn't want to fight him. And you better believe Eddie Hearn to say what he wants. But when they're behind closed doors and talking, you better believe they're sitting there trying to find what's the easiest route to go through to make the most money. And at the same time, if we're going to go and take a high risk, let it be worth something, like a belt. Fighting Tyson Fury, you're going to get money and you're going to get a belt. Fighting Luis, what do? You get an L, you get defeated. So they're not going to fight him. They're not going to fight him. And so I don't know who's out there for him to fight. Not Oscar Rivas. I mean, Hellenius maybe, man. He just doesn't have many options, man. Not to make the type of money he deserves to make. It is sad, man. But Andrade and Ortiz, they just can't get the fights they want. And it's sad, man. Don't know what's going to happen next for him. But he needs to get something big. You know, Cuba, they just started allowing guys to box on a professional level now. So maybe he'll get an opportunity to go to Cuba and fight. And, you know, maybe the right people will get behind that machine and would take him over there and a couple of these Cuban fighters and do something big. But I don't know. I don't even know what Ortiz can do anymore. When I look at these heavyweights, man, it's just sad. Because it's almost like they're recycling these guys, man. You know, they had a guy who's the Molina guy, man. You know, the guy who's from Texas. Ortiz is gonna go fight Molina, man. Molina, every time he stepped up, he got knocked out. So, I mean, it's sad that he still has to fight these C-level competitors. Why isn't he able to get in here and crack heads with some of these A-listers, man? It's just horrible. The same thing with Andrade. Andrade is just like whatever he can get his hands on, man. You know, it's like these two guys are these stray dogs that are just wandering aimlessly throughout, you know, city streets and avenues, looking for something to eat, and you know they really want to have a steak, but yet they gotta go and, you know, rip open a bag of trash with the side of their mouth and then eat whatever little piece of whatever they can find. And that's how these guys are, man. They're just like, you know, stray animals, just wanting a steak, but settling for, you know, somebody's leftover pizza crust, man. It's just sad. But anyway, we'll see what his next move is. I know right now he's pissed off because he has to go back to the drawing board. Andrade is pissed off. He didn't get the big fights that he wants, and he probably never will. And we'll see what happens, man. So more to come on these two, but nobody wants to fight him. And Andrade, he showed in his last couple fights that he's got some pop, and he's trying to get people out of there. I mean, the last 3 or 4 fights, when he comes out in that first round, people are in bad shape that first round. Because Andrade he knows, okay, I got to knock people out. He's showing that he can do it, he can try. And he can do it, man, but I don't know if that helped him at all. Okay, raising my profile. Now they're like, oh, damn, he's not a soft-fisted boxer. This man can get you out the ring, get you out of there. Man can hit hard. And, you know, they don't want to give him his props. But what's his name? Sean Porter said, Andrade hits hard. He said as amateurs, he's like, oh no, he hits hard. He gave him his props. He said he's not an easy fight, and he spoke very highly of him. And Porter is a straight shooter. He's not gonna make nothing up. But he said, no man, Andrade can fight, and he hits hard. So that's why you see people don't want to fight him, man. It's sad. But anyway, that's the deal with Andrade and Ortiz. Those guys, for the rest of their career, they're probably always going to be back at the drawing board trying to figure things out. They'll probably always fight C-, C+, B- type opponents because they never get the big A. And Andrade has a belt. And that's what's the most ridiculous thing about it. This man can't even go out there and make multiples of millions of dollars, and he has a belt, and he's extremely talented. Sad. Ortiz, he got close, but he'll never get another opportunity, unless if Dillian White wins, he got a rematch Fury. So Ortiz isn't going to get a shot at anything because all the belts are tied up. So it's just sad. Ortiz just has to take what he can, forget about the steak, and go eat whatever he can eat because he's got to still make money to sustain himself and take care of his family and make sure that beautiful daughter of his is squared away on the financial level. That being said, man, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about the fights. Let me know what you think about Andrade and Ortiz. Because, some people may see it differently, but I just think those two are the biggest boogeyman in boxing. Those two guys have they have the most headaches when it comes to trying to get a fight made because nobody wants to fight them. And it's because they're extremely high risk. And I understand that. But anyway, man, shout out to all the veterans. And as always, I'm in the breeze.